The Morning News, 7:15, Dave, Lance, Jackson, and you. And thanks for being with us on a very cool morning. I had the first frost on my windshield this morning.
Yeah.
And
you're scraping?
I was sitting there going, come on, heater. Come on.
That's right.
Mostly doing that. And then driving hunched way down, trying to look through a little crack of clarity.
We all
and
do.
of course, it's the last thing you want to do, because then you open up your side windows because they're, don't get me started.
Oh, I'm glad that whole situation is what I'm doing in the morning.
It's universal.
As well.
All right. Amidst all of our talk of rigged elections, we have local elections to talk about.
That's right.
I don't know if our local candidates feel that the elections are rigged. Certainly they have been on a national scale, as we've described, but we have a couple of county commission seats that have come due for election. Incumbent Mike Ettl, we heard from him yesterday.
That's right.
His opponent is Eric Geary, and Eric is on the phone with us this morning. Yeah. Morning, Eric.
Good morning.
Good morning. Thanks for being here.
Yeah, Eric, boy, you have served in the enlisted and officer corps of our military, overseas, owned and operated 2 businesses. Your education includes bachelor and master's degrees in IT and administrative management and environmental and policy management. And you want to become the next Yakima County Commissioner.
I definitely do.
Never served in a public office?
No, to be honest, excuse me. I'm not a career politician. I've never had experience in an elected position before. So I think that might be refreshing and new for a lot of our citizens, because I'm not coming to you with a lot of, you can say, fluff statements that make excuses sound better than what they really are.
Right on. Tell us why you think that experience, not only, I guess, in the military, your lots of education, bachelor and master's degree in IT and administrative management, how would that play a role in becoming the next Yakima County Commissioner?
Well, Dave, you probably are aware we have a lot of future issues coming in front of us down the road. Especially, we have a water capacity issue. We have some water contamination issues, which would be very beneficial to have someone with my background, with an environmental understanding, who's done implementation of environmental integrations and infrastructure development, even in other countries. So where I understand the science to it, and I can jump right in, bring new emerging technology and concepts, bring new ideas, fresh perspective, and try to lower the overall cost of the overall implementation for the next 30 years of this Yakima Basin Integrated Plan. And that's just one. The other one is just I want to bring some transparency back to our government, letting people know that what times our meetings are. We actually had a conversation with Mike Ettl directly in a debate where he verbally stated, when I advocated that the people deserve and have a right to know when and where public meetings are, that we need to be advertising all of them to our public, he said he respectfully disagrees. And that, to me, is you're not supporting your rights as an American citizen. You're not supporting what we stood for, what our founding fathers stood for, and that's what really kind of drove me to run.
So, you're up against a 3-time incumbent.
I am.
That's tough. How do you think it's going so far?
I think it's been going really exceptional. I mean, I got the Washington State Farm Bureau endorsement over the incumbent. I've been endorsed by the former Lieutenant Governor Philip Yan. I've been endorsed by the former Mayor of Yakima, Mike Ettl, and now I'm glad to say that I've been endorsed by Mr. Clint Didier, who's running for Congress. Clint and I have the same stances when it comes to reducing government and reducing the involvement of government in everyone's lives and making life simple again for all our citizens.
Like a lot of people ears would perk up at the sound of that, to have as little to do with government. Do what you can do, government, but don't do a single thing more, right? That's kind of the
exactly. So that's why but I also want to re-empower the people to have a voice again. I want to implement town hall meetings. I want to move our Tuesday 10 o'clock meetings where nobody can attend to maybe a Thursday night where it doesn't conflict with city council meetings throughout the entire county. So that way people are empowered and have a voice again.
What do you think are some of the big challenges that the county faces in the future that you'd like to tackle?
Well, one of the challenges is overall budget and being conservative. I mean, you have to ask, is our current commissioner really conservative? If he's paying one category of directors 30% more than equivalent in other counties, such as Thurston and Kitsap County, and yet their cost of living is so much higher over there, that's not being very conservative or having a fair competition or being competitive with other counties. So you're not being conservative. So budget's going to be one of those things. We have significant funds going to our Law and Justice Department. Honestly, I'm wetback. I'm going to be, going in kind of fresh. I'm going to have a learning curve, I'll be honest. But I want to really analyze some of those issues as far as where funds are being going and why are they going so much to one location of a special interest over others. The majority of our full-time employees get paid on average, and this is actually Mike's latest statement, 18% less than other counties. So if you're paying your directors 30 to 31% more than other counties, why aren't you being equivalent or competitive? Those are things that need to be looked at as well. Our ordinances need to have a huge overhaul. Permit system, I want to work with the subject matter experts of the permit system to be able to identify where things should be possibly improved. One of the things I've already identified is possibly implementing a new program to where if you move into a new location and you identify or it was not disclosed to you that there was no permit obtained for certain, you could say, shed or whatever was constructed, maybe we have a different fee scale for something of that nature if you can prove that you were without knowledge and it wasn't disclosed to you. So there's a lot of things going forward that I'd like to jump in on, and I think I have the ability and the experience and the know-how to do it.
Well, and you seem to have pretty good energy, too. Are you at a military thing right now?
I am not. I'm actually, to be honest, I'm sitting here in my truck waiting to go into work.
Uh-huh. Well, good for you. It's much safer there than in the studio with us.
But I'll be at the military this weekend.
And the coffee's a lot better in your truck than the coffee we serve here, too. So trust me.
Yeah, it is. My wife made my coffee this morning, or at least helped out with it. So it tastes probably a lot better than what I can get in the office.
We've talked to all three of the other candidates, your opponent and the two opponents for the other position, and all of them have, some interesting things to say. I think Yakima's got a pretty good slate of people to look at here. One of the questions that we've asked is from time to time, there's a bit of controversy with the clerk's office. I don't think that thing is resolved as of yet. How do you feel the commissioner's job is in terms of dealing with the issues of the clerk's office?
Well, the issue with the clerk office, where the commissioners really had a say as far as how things went, is when they first started talking about the budget and how it had an effect. But ultimately, the clerk is the elected official of her office, and she has the capacity and the responsibility to manage her section of government. When she's in the courtroom, she is the Supreme Court clerk in the courtroom. But once she steps out of that courtroom, she's now the elected head of her office. And so when it comes to the budget, yes, you have to negotiate things because the commissioners are responsible for the obligation of the budget and how that affects overall in the general fund. However, the other part is that they kind of went over their bounds when they started to take on a new role of being an intermediary between the court and the clerks. The clerk and the court. The clerk and the court should have handled that directly, and then the commissioner's focus should have been, well, how do we accommodate for the change in the budget? To push the issue even more, they do have a requirement to enforce the policies that they handed down, but you've got to be living at the same standard of policies. We've actually took pictures of my opponent out campaigning while doing county presentations. And we've submitted that to different news agencies and so forth, and that hasn't actually been published. So we published it on social media and Facebook and so forth. I think actually the person that took the picture is going to be actually writing a letter to the editor saying, hey, you got to be living to your own standards. If you're going to force it on one elected official, then you better be holding yourself accountable too when it comes upon you. So that's where I stand on the court and clerk and the commissioners going forward. Continue humble communication with the clerk, trying to work out things, maybe try to develop a new contract where she might be more inclined to be happier related to what the duties of her deputy clerks are doing. But in the end, she has to make the decision, and we have to work with that decision.
Good, Eric. Thank you very much. Anything you want the voters to know if you were to say, look, Yakima Valley, really want to go to work for you, here's my elevator speech where I give you the reasons why you need to vote for me. Here's your opportunity.
Okay, well, I'm known as the leader who listens and the leader that works for you. I consider myself that I'm respectful to our citizens, capable of performing the duties. And then ultimately, I want to be an advocate for the people. I want to get people a voice again, reintegrate some transparency back into our government, providing what our government's being spending on by line item, having that available constantly through our website to our citizens, some more transparency of communication. Lastly, I think a lot of the reasons why I was endorsed by a lot of these candidates and the Farm Bureau is because I'm a person that supports our families, our businesses, our community, our business opportunities, and our Yakima County as a whole.
District 1 candidate, Eric Geary. Well said, sir.
Good job.
We wish you the best of luck. We appreciate your time this morning, and it's, 3 weeks away. You see yourself doing door knocking. It's tough to do up and down the county.
We've already been doing that. I've actually been joint door knocking with several other candidates who are supporting me as well. Amanda Richards is actually an endorser of me as well for state senate. So we've been joint campaigning, and you'll actually see another joint campaign with Clint Didier here going out even on social media pretty soon.
Excellent.